I've already invested $60,000 simply to ensure your happiness. Yet, how could you reduce me to merely a wallet or an ATM? We don't recall ever soliciting your assistance. Lily, Max's wife, scoffed with disdain. Why don't you attempt to cease the payments if they trouble you so much? After all, I am quite capable of handling it myself, Max added in a dismissive tone, echoing his wife's sentiments. Even Max, my eldest son whom I've raised, behaves in such a manner. After coercing me into covering the costs of a $20,000 engagement party and then a $40,000 wedding, they have the audacity to treat me like this. They only perceive me as a source of funds, lamented Chloe, Max's mother, feeling disheartened by the lack of gratitude. I must have made a mistake in raising my son. I'll never allow them to manipulate me again, Chloe declared, firm in her resolve. I've heard you loud and clear, Max retorted. Are you sure about that? You know we won't let you see your grandchild, right? He threatened. You don't have to. I'd be more than happy to discontinue the payments, Chloe responded calmly. From that point on, Max and Lily faced a steep decline in their fortunes, having treated Chloe like a bottomless source of money. My name is Chloe. I'm 56 years old. I've been struggling alone ever since my husband passed away 12 years ago. Between my job and raising my two children, I've always had my hands full, Chloe reflected on her life. I'm currently an executive at a decent company that I've been with since before I got married. To the outside world, I guess you could call me a career woman, she continued. The children who were high schoolers when my husband died have now graduated college and are working, so I'm a bit relieved. I just wish they'd settle down and start their own family soon, Chloe sighed, contemplating her future. Living comfortably in the condominium that she used to share with her children, Chloe's life took an unexpected turn when Max called her one day. I want to introduce you to a woman I'm thinking of marrying, Max said excitedly. Delighted, Chloe agreed, and when Max brought Lily, his fiancée, to meet her, Chloe couldn't help but be proud. Nice to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you, Chloe greeted Lily warmly. The woman Max introduced as Lily was a receptionist at his company, strikingly beautiful, and Chloe couldn't help but feel pleased that her son had found someone like her. Congratulations to you both. I'm here to support your happiness, Chloe said, beaming with joy. Their conversation flowed, and eventually, the topic of the engagement party arose. We're planning to have an engagement party soon, Max informed Chloe. I need to start preparations. Then, Mom, could you cover the $20,000 cost for the engagement party? Max sprung the request on Chloe, his mother. Taken aback by the hefty sum, Chloe hesitated momentarily. I thought the average cost was around $10,000. However, seeing their happy faces, I couldn't refuse and agreed. Of course, it's a happy occasion, she conceded. Later, Chloe's eldest daughter, Mia, paid her a visit. How's work going? The deadline was yesterday, Chloe inquired, concerned for Mia's well-being. I'm managing well, so don't worry, Maya reassured her mother. A manga artist, Mia hadn't yet struck gold with a major hit but managed to make a living through her series. With her talent in drawing and her love for manga, it seemed like the perfect fit for her. By the way, Mom, Max is getting married, isn't he? Mia inquired. Yes, he came by the other day with his fiancée, Lily, to introduce her. They've asked for $20,000 for the engagement party, Chloe informed Mia. Wow, $20,000 is a hefty sum for sure, Maya remarked. It's not like that. Apparently, they're going to split it for their wedding funds and to send gifts of gratitude. Is that how it works? Chloe wondered aloud. On the day of the engagement party, Chloe handed over the promised $20,000. Both Lily and her parents looked delighted. We'll use this to start our new life together, they exclaimed, stashing away the money. There were no gifts of gratitude that Chloe expected, but she reminded herself that this was typical of engagement parties. As long as they could have a happy marriage, she reasoned, it was okay. However, a few days later, Max dropped a bombshell. I want a grand wedding with lots of company and connections invited, maybe around 250 people, he announced. That sounds wonderful. And with that, Mom, I'd like to ask you to cover the upfront cost of the wedding, Max requested. What? I was under the impression that weddings were funded by the couple themselves, Chloe protested. I'm counting on you, Mom. It's pretty standard for parents to pay for the wedding. But didn't I give a lot of money for the engagement party? Lily's parents are frail and can't contribute, and I'll give you back the wedding gift. Max pressed on, leaving Chloe feeling reluctant to agree. I opened the bill Max had brought, and to my shock, the amount totaled $40,000. The idea of such an upfront cost made my head spin. How grand of a wedding were they planning? Wait a minute, isn't this a bit too much? Why not have a wedding within your means? I questioned, feeling overwhelmed. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and Lily doesn't want to compromise. Plus, don't you want Lily's parents to see how happy she is? Max countered, cornering me. Being pressured like that, I couldn't refuse. All right, it's indeed a joyous once-in-a-lifetime occasion, I conceded reluctantly. Seeing my consent, Max smiled and thanked me before leaving the room. Later, I transferred the upfront cost of $40,000 to the wedding venue. It was difficult to part with the money I had been saving for my retirement, but I told myself it was for my child's happiness. 2 months later, on the wedding day, the venue was more luxurious than I had anticipated. Mia and I arrived early in the morning to change into our dresses and get our hair done. As I approached the bride and groom's dressing room to knock, I'd overheard their conversation. I can't believe we're able to have such a lavish wedding, thanks to Mom, Max exclaimed. Absolutely, and she gave us $20,000 for the engagement party. I even managed to buy a new bag. What a great wallet, more like an ATM. Let's keep withdrawing from it, Max, Lily chimed in. That's mean, Maya whispered, stunned by their conversation. Lily continued gleefully, if we ask her, she'll probably cover the rest of the wedding costs, right? Of course you will. Leave it to me. Then let's use the wedding gift for a honeymoon trip to Hawaii. And of course, we'll take my parents along. How about buying a high-rise apartment for our new home? That sounds perfect. Let's get my mother to cover the cost. She does have the money, after all, Max proposed eagerly. My hand, raised to knock on the door, trembled. Mia gently held my shoulder and led me away from the door, breathing slowly. I grasped Mia's hand, which rested gently on my shoulder, and whispered, Mia, there's something I need you to look into when the ceremony starts. Of course, Mom. Leave it to me, Maya assured me. And so Max and Lily's wedding commenced. From their vows in the chapel to the toasts at the start of the reception, my mind was consumed with the conversation between Max and Lily earlier. Even as the MC introduced me and the spotlight fell on me, all I could manage was a bow. Mia, who had been circulating and offering toasts, returned to me. Mom, I checked with Lily's relatives. Both of her parents are perfectly healthy. That's horrible. We need to confront them. I'll be right there with you, I declared. Just as Mia spoke, it was time for the first wardrobe change. Lily exited first, followed by Max. As Max emerged, the MC announced, now the groom will exit escorted by his mother, Chloe, who raised him single-handedly. Summoned, I walked down the aisle to meet Max. A little tipsy, Max was in high spirits, announcing into the MC's microphone, This is my amazing mom. Keeping a straight face, I walked beside Max, exited the hall, and headed straight to the dressing room where Maya was waiting. She approached Max and began, Max, there's something I need to ask you. What is it, sis? Make it quick. I need to change and get back, Max replied curtly as he undressed. I've heard the conversation in the dressing room earlier. How could you talk about Mom like that? Mia confronted him. Huh, you were listening? Well, whatever. Max dismissed her with a shrug. Taken aback by Max's attitude, Lily, who had already changed into her dress, entered the room. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law, what's going on? She demanded. Mia found out that your parents are healthy. They both have good jobs. Why are you making our mom pay for everything? What's going on? I added, unable to contain my frustration. What is this? Some kind of sister-in-law bullying? Scary, Lily mocked, dramatically recoiling. My patience snapped at her mocking attitude. I've already paid $60,000 hoping for your happiness, and yet you treat people like they're wallets, ATMs. What kind of language is that? I confronted Lily, exasperated by her dismissive attitude. Hearing this, Lily laughed as if it were a joke. Acting all high and mighty for such a small sum. We're not in your debt. Besides, it's normal for the groom's parents to pay for the wedding, right? But you lied about your parents being ill to buy a new bag. Who, you were eavesdropping. That's a terrible hobby, Lily retorted, mocking Mia. Mia, angered by Lily's words, snapped back. Watch your mouth. I don't want to be told off by someone doing some weird job as a manga artist. It's because you're such a nerd that you can't get married. That's right, you're hopeless when it comes to marriage, sis. Max chimed in, joining Lily in the mockery. Stunned speechless by their cruelty, I tried to scold them, but Max just laughed and responded, if you're going to talk like that, try stopping the payments. After all, I'm an elite. I can easily handle it. Well, it'll be a shame to lose the cash cow. I had paid $20,000 for the engagement party and $40,000 for the wedding, and this was how they repaid me. No gratitude, only cruelty. Feeling like I had failed somewhere in raising my son, I made a firm decision. I've had enough. I won't be manipulated by them anymore. I've heard all you have to say. Are you sure about that? If you don't listen to us, you won't see your grandchild, Max threatened. That's fine. You don't need to bring them over. I'll gladly stop the payments. I replied firmly, refusing to yield to their threats. Max and Lily stared at me, stunned, as I continued, I'm severing hard ties here. I wish you all the best. Taking Maya's hand, we left the venue, the joyous noise of the reception still audible as we departed. A month later, as Mia and I were enjoying some tea at home, the intercom rang with a shrill tone. Oh, Mom, it's Max. What should we do? Mia asked, uncertainty evident in her voice. It had been a month since I last saw Max. When he showed up unexpectedly, he looked remarkably worn and tired. Mom, you must have received the bill for the wedding venue by now. Why haven't you paid? Max questioned urgently. Huh? Oh, the bill for the remaining balance. It was $45,000, right? It arrived, but I have no obligation to pay it, I replied, taken aback by his insistence. Don't be like that. In the end, we didn't receive many wedding gifts and couldn't pay the bill, so now we're in debt, Max explained, pleading for understanding. At that, Mia laughed and chimed in. From what I overheard at the wedding, it seems you two have quite a bad reputation. Max, you've been throwing your weight around at work, doing haphazard jobs. And Lily, you've been putting down other women, flaunting your looks in marriage. I can see why people wouldn't want to give wedding gifts to people like you. Hey sis, stay out of this, Max snapped, clearly annoyed by Mia's comment. I sighed deeply. You too? It's not just me you haven't been considerate of. It's everyone around you. The wedding expenses are your own doing. Please pay them yourselves. Desperately, Max pleaded, Mom, I'm in a bind here. Lily can't control her spending, and even her parents have started to take advantage of me. Lily's love of money isn't exactly a new revelation, Mom. Plus, having seen Lily, I can easily imagine her parents behaving the same way. Please, Mom, think about helping us. Give us some money. I sternly replied, You were the one who said I'm an elite, and it'll be a piece of cake. You told me to stop making payments, didn't you? And didn't you say that we were severing our ties? I have no obligation to give you any more money. Mom, don't call me Mom. I don't want to be called that by someone who has only ever seen me as a cash cow. To be honest, I'd like you to repay me for the wedding and the engagement party, but I'll write it off as a settlement payment. Now please leave, I declared firmly. Max, who had looked shocked, now had a malicious look on his face. Hey, are you really okay with this, Mom? Cutting ties with us like that? How will you spend your old age without a husband? Don't you want to see your grandchild? He challenged. Before I could respond, Mia intervened. Don't worry about that. I will be by Mom's side, And what can an unsuccessful comic artist like you do? You can't even have children. Shut up, Max, she retorted sharply. Max, frothing at the mouth with anger, sneered. Ah, so scary. Sure, you mock me as a failed manga artist or an otaku, yet my manga was among the top-selling shoujo manga this year. Did you know it's set to be turned into an anime and movie next year? Safe to say, I'm in a much better financial state than you and your debts. At this point, Max noticed something. Hey, is that this? Oh, you noticed. Yes, that's what's happening, Mia confirmed, flashing the ring on her left ring finger. I'm getting married to my editor. He's a big shot at a major publishing house, a real high flyer. So we can take care of Mom. We don't need you anyway. We never intended to have our children care for us. Thanks, Mia. We're having a wedding, but we'll handle everything ourselves. We'll invite Mom, Max, but you don't need to come, Mia concluded, leaving Max stunned. I said, did you get it now? Never bother us again. With those words, Mia and I steadily pushed Max towards the front door. Please, Mom, and you too. Sis, Max pleaded, but it was time to make a stand. Then something came to mind. What are you going to give us money for? Max's hopeful expression turned sour as I continued. That director at your wedding? Turns out, I didn't know, but he's a client of my company. It seems you're hiring and all your undeserved privileges were out of consideration for me. I told him to stop that, though. What? You didn't hear about this? Stop it, please. Handle it on your own. Now goodbye. With finality, Mia and I pushed Max outside and firmly locked the door. Max made a fuss outside, but after ignoring him for a while, it became quiet. A year passed since then. Right after that incident, I sold a house to avoid Max and Lily's visit and bought an apartment with elderly services for my old age. According to a neighbor from my condo, Max and Lily showed up and created a scene, asking why I wasn't there. Hence, I believe my decision was the right one. As for Max and Lily, they'd abandoned their dream of a luxury high-rise apartment and now live in a cramped space. Max, it seems, was demoted after his actions were reviewed. Perhaps hurt from falling from his elite status, Max worsened his attitude towards others. Surprisingly, he's not fired yet. Lily, who quit her job upon marriage, continued to splurge for a while, but their funds quickly ran out. Even with their debts, Lily's luxurious habits did not change, and her parents continued to demand money. Apparently, they quarrel daily. I hope the two learn the hardship of earning money and appreciate the people around them and grow up, though that might be too much to ask from them. I still maintain a good relationship with Mia. Mia's husband is a good man who treats me well, and they are expecting a baby. I plan to spoil my lovely daughter and grandchild, and looking forward to it keeps me working every day.